Hello and welcome to Colred Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Colred. I appreciate you being here. In today's video, I am going to be talking about reset days. Now, Raid has a lot of timers. There are timers all over the place, from the quick 3-minute timer that regens your energy to the monthly timer that resets Doom Tower. But when we're talking about reset days, we're generally talking about the longer timers in the game. And so today I'm going to be focusing on 4 reset days. They're all happening within about 48 hours of right now. So I think this is a great time to talk about them. And they are, first, the arena reset that just happened last night, the weekly clan reset that is about to happen, the weekly Hydra boss reset, which is about to happen in under 48 hours, and then the monthly Doom Tower reset. Now, each of these resets has a different effect on your approach to the game in any given day or point of the week. But being aware of when a reset happens is going to help you make sure that you complete the tasks that you need to complete on time. And also, you can start each reset with a particular approach that's going to help you get the most out of your weekly reset or monthly reset. Now, we've got a lot to cover and time is ticking, so let's get started. So a quick reminder, I live stream every Tuesday and Saturday. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I do my Takeover Tuesdays where I give away free takeovers. And then on Saturday, my editor's son and I do our live Noob versus Pro series. So consider joining us on one of those days. We have a lot of fun. Additionally, we are in a subscriber push. We are trying to get 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2023. So if you enjoyed this video or any of our content, always remember to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also consider joining our Discord community. All of that really helps out the channel, and I appreciate the support. Okay, before we get to the other resets, I just wanted to quickly talk about this Prism Shard summoning event. The summon pool for this event is actually very good, and the summon requirement is very low. So only 20 Prism Shards required, or Quartz required, whatever those are. So you may be able to get a pull or two here this week. I just wanted to say that this pool is actually really interesting. It's Halloween themed, but the champions in the pool are very good. All of the legendaries are excellent legendaries that can be played and are worth 6 stars. Out of the epics, I just want to call out a few really good epics. We have Seeker, Allure, and Rector Drath, who are I think collectively 3 of the best epics in the game, some of the most valuable. We also have a bunch of other really good ones. Annex, Magnar, Gorgorab, Miscreated Monster. So there's a ton of value. Husk here is an awesome Hydra clan boss damage dealer. So a lot of really good epics here. So even if you miss on the legendary, you have a 37% chance here of getting an epic. And these are some very, very good epics. Even the rares aren't bad. Surprisingly enough, Emerine Skeleton is now valuable because he's part of the fusion for Lady Mikage. So if you pull this champion, you no longer are completely disappointed. There's at least value for 1 copy. In addition, we have Petrifia Rockroot, who was part of the Bamboo's fusion. She's a very good champion. We've got Frozen Banshee, who's an amazing clan boss poisoner. We've got Kale. We've even got some other champions here who are part of the Raz and Scarhide fusion. So a lot of value here. If you can get 1 or 2 pulls, you may want to consider that just for the next 4.5 days. Okay, so let's move on from the Prism Shards to a timer we can actually rely upon. Every week, your clan timers reset. Now, there are 2 timers, and they're usually very close together. So you can see that the quests here are going to reset in 17 hours from right now. And in addition, the clan shop, you can see, is also going to reset in 17 hours. There's actually about a 5-minute delay on them. I don't know why they're not exactly synced up, but they're 5 minutes different today. But they basically reset at the exact same time. So there are some things you want to consider with your weekly timers here in the clan shop and with also the clan quests. Let's start in the clan shop because it's a little bit simpler. So as the timer is ticking down, you want to make sure that you pick up any of the limited purchases that you can get that are valuable to you. So for instance, if you want to pick up this epic skill tome, you can see I already bought mine this week. Or if you want to get some of these revenge accessories, if you are an earlier game player, these revenge accessories can be very powerful because they are all 5 and 6 star rare or above. And so these are some of the best accessories that you can get early in the game, especially if you haven't progressed very far in Spider. Now, also in this shop, even though it doesn't show it here because I've gotten all of my champions, there are 2 champions that you can collect, but you can only do 5 fragments per week. So that resets with the timer. Make sure you get your fragments there. The skin fragments for Arbiter are also weekly, but those are much lower priority. As far as the refresh is concerned, just realize it is a week-long timer. You don't want to miss one, because if you miss one of these timers, that's going to set you back a week, whether it's on collecting fragments or getting epic tomes or whatever it happens to be that can be valuable to you. And remember, each week you have slightly different items here, so you won't necessarily get all of the same items every week. The fragments will always be there. The accessories will always be there. But sometimes you have energy, sometimes you have silver, sometimes you have different options that pop up or change. Now, as far as the clan quests are concerned, these also reset on a weekly timer, and you can pick up 3 maximum for the whole week. So in the next few hours, you want to make sure that you've completed all of your quests from the previous week. And then you want to make sure that you pick up your new quests relatively early in the week. And it depends on your clan's particular rules. A lot of clans have rules around the quests. For instance, in one of my clans, we are only allowed to take 1 elite quest per week for the first 72 hours. After that, if there are any elite quests that remain, then we can pick them up. But that gives everybody an opportunity to pick a good elite quest for themselves. So you may want to pick your quest right away, or you may want to wait a little while to let other players get their quests first. If you are very advanced in the game, try choosing not the easiest quest for yourself, but rather a difficult quest that maybe other people aren't going to be likely to do. So for instance, here, there's a quest that got left completely on the board. This is to decapitate 10 Hydra heads in brutal difficulty or higher. If you can do that easily, you may be in a clan where your clanmates can't do that easily. So take this one off the board. You're going to be able to complete it, and you're going to leave the other quests on the board for your clanmates who maybe can't do this one, but can do some of the other ones. So remember, you don't want to take the easiest quest off the board. You want to take a reasonably difficult quest off the board that you can still accomplish. And likewise, you can pick up all 3 on the first day, or depending on your clan rules, you can pick up 1 or 2 on the first day and wait till later in the week. But you don't want to forget about this timer, because clan gold is very precious. That's how you buy those things in the clan shop. Now, as you can see, I still have my elite quest left, and that is to free champions from being digested by the Hydra 7 times. Now, for my clan, this would probably be a medium difficulty level quest. Most people don't pick it up, and so I can do this fairly easily, and that's why I've picked it up. But as you can see, I still have only 17 hours to do this. Now, this is important because the clan reset timer is not the same as the Hydra reset timer. So let's go to Hydra and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, here we are, and we can see the reset timer up there. I'm not worried about the rotation timer. I'm worried about the weekly reset, because that's when my keys reset. So as you can see, I have 1 day and 18 hours left to do my Hydra. Now, normally this would be great, and I would say, hey, you've got basically 2 days, start experimenting now, try to get your best Hydra result. But it may take you 24 hours or 30 hours or 36 hours to get it done. That's okay, because you have that time. However, I know from my clan quest that I don't have a day and 18 hours to kill the Hydra boss heads 7 times. I need to do that today before my clan quest resets. Now, one of the things about Hydra that can be a little bit tricky with the reset is that it takes a long time to run Hydra, especially at higher difficulty levels, especially if you're going for a high point total. You may have to run 10 or 20 or 30 runs before you get the result you want. Each run can take between 5 minutes and an hour. So you might spend a dozen hours in a week trying to do 2 or 3 difficulty levels. So depending on where you are in the game, you want to budget that time appropriately. As the timer counts down, you want to make sure that you are investing your keys, getting the value for yourself, getting your Hydra Clash points for your clan, and either collecting those Mithrala fragments or getting those protection and stone skin artifacts, and also the additional rewards that you can get there, such as more clan experience and gold. Now, I usually wait until late in the timer to use my keys. You can see I've had to throw away a key here because of an advanced quest that I just had to burn as the daily reset, server reset, was coming down, and I didn't have time to actually do a real Hydra battle. So I have burned one key here for under 1 million. And sometimes you have to do that. But I want to use my other 2 keys to complete at least 2 of these difficulties. And so I need to do that, at least one of those, in the next 12 hours or so to get my clan quest done. But then I could hold the other one to tomorrow if I needed to, if I didn't have time to play today. Now, the third big timer, the weekly timer, just happened, and that is the Classic Arena and Tag Team Arena resets. You can see we are at 6 days and 16 hours for Classic Arena, and 6 days and 14 hours for Tag Team Arena until the next reset. So I got my rewards today, and now I have to start planning my week with Arena. So I'm going to go through both arenas. My approach is a little bit different. Your approach may not mirror mine. It depends where your teams are and what state you are, where you're trying to push, if you're just trying to farm, so on and so forth. So let's jump into Classic Arena and I'll show you what I mean. So in a Classic Arena, you can see I am in Gold 4 currently, and I just got dropped down out of Gold 5. And during the first couple of hours of a reset, it is really hard to get back into Gold 5 because people are constantly attacking you. And you may have set a good defense or a bad defense, depending on where you were at the end of last week. So the first thing you want to do is you want to think about what you want to accomplish this week in Classic Arena. Are you trying to just farm medals where you are? Are you trying to push up into a higher tier because you want to progress to a higher tier and live up there? Or do you maybe want to just progress at the end of the week because it's hard to progress, but if you can maybe progress at the end of the week to get a higher tier, you can get better rewards for the weekly reset. So for instance, if you're in Silver 4, you might want to live in Silver 4, but then 12 hours or 24 hours before the reset, you might want to try to get up into Gold to get better rewards for the week. So as you can see, I have a relatively weak defense set. Sometimes I go with a middle ground defense. Here I have a defense that could catch some people unaware. I'm not trying to farm points on defense, but I didn't want to lose a ton of points at the end of the week and accidentally get knocked down to Gold 4 instead of being in Gold 5 while I was asleep or something because I wasn't actually playing towards the end of the reset. But now what I can do is just in the middle of the week, I can go ahead and say, maybe I want to put in a one-man defense. In this case, I'm going to leave this defense for now because I want to make sure that I get up into Gold 5 as quickly as possible and then push up a few hundred points, and then I'll put in my one-man defense, and that'll make it better for everybody who's living there in Gold 5 because they'll have a nice, easy battle to defeat. And I think we should all do that. If you are in Gold 5 and you're comfortably in Gold 5, please put in a one-man defense. But you can also think about this in any tier of Classic Arena. One-man defense allows us all to farm more quickly. You know how you love to see a one-man defense on your page when you refresh. Provide that to other players. The only reason to not do that, there are actually 2 reasons. One is if by putting in a one-man defense, you find that you keep falling. You are not active enough to maintain the pace, right? So I typically have no problem staying in the same tier of arena with a one-man defense. And it doesn't matter if I'm in silver, low gold, high gold, whatever it happens to be. So I put in a one-man defense just so more people can farm their Great Hall more easily. However, towards the end of the week, right? We are at the beginning of the week, but towards the end of the week, I might change this to a full 4-man defense. And the reason is I don't want to fall at the end of the week. I want to see if I can climb. So let's say I'm in Silver 4 and I want to get up into Gold 1, or let's say I'm in Gold 3 and I want to try to get to Gold 5, whatever it happens to be. Then I need my full defense so that I don't lose my points, my ranking points as quickly. So if you're not worried about climbing, and by the way, if you've been stuck in Silver 4 for like a month and you haven't made any changes to your team, you're not climbing. It's not just that you've been unlucky, it's that that team isn't good enough yet. So without a change to the team, or without a significant increase in your activity level, you're not likely to get out of Silver 4. So don't worry about having the best defense possible. Just have a defense that's good enough with your activity level to keep you from dropping. You don't want to drop into Silver 3 or Silver 2, but if you can put in a one-man defense and stay in Silver 4, then that's great. Remember, 48 hours or 24 hours before the reset, that's when you can put in the full defense, make your push for gold or platinum or whatever it happens to be. But for most of the week, we want to have a relatively friendly defense. because that helps out everybody. Now in Tag Team Arena, it's different because you really want to have a one-man defense everywhere. As you can see, I've got a one-man defense on all 3 teams. They're level 50 champions. I just happen to put them out because they were relatively easy to find in my roster. But you could put level 1 champions if you wanted. You do not want to put good defenses in your 3v3 arena team early in the week. You just don't want to do it. What you want to do is you want to come here and you want to drop down to 0 points. You can see now I messed up last week. I should be in silver 2, but I actually messed up last week and I forgot to change my defense until about 10 hours before reset. And that's way too late. If I wanted to maintain silver 2, I should have changed my defense about 48 hours ahead of time and then climbed back up into the middle of silver 2. But I'm going to show you something. As I reset this, because I'm at 0 points, you're going to see what happens. All one-man defenses, like a whole bunch. We've got one person here who's not, but for the most part, I am matched up against people who just have one-man defenses. Now that's great. We all do that. I have that, right? So what that means is you can farm all of these battles all week long, and you're going to get tons and tons of gold bars that are going to help you in the bazaar. You're going to get ancient shards. You're going to get energy. You're going to get void shards. You're going to get additional accessories. Maybe you get skill tomes. If you're all the way up here in gold, you're going to get, access to sacred shards and legendary skill tomes. So a lot of people do this. And the reason that they do this is because 3v3 is a bad system, right? The competitive nature of 3v3 isn't balanced with the rewards. So basically, everybody does this. You get down to 0 points. You can't drop out of your ranking until the end of the week. So it doesn't matter if you have 0 points. Just go ahead and for 4 or 5 days, farm gold bars, farm for free, give everybody else a chance to farm for free with your one-man defenses. And then 48 hours or so in advance of the reset, you can climb back up into a nice safe place where you won't get demoted. If you're looking to get promoted instead, you can still do this for at least 3 or 4 days. And then I would say, if you can't get promoted in 72 hours worth of work, your teams might not be strong enough yet. That's just the nature of the beast. But for at least the first 3, if not 4 or 5 days, you should be living here at 0 points. And that way you're going to get a ton of gold bars. You can see I've got 20k gold bars up there. And that is just climbing every week. Now, if you have more gold bars than you could possibly ever spend, then maybe you don't need to do this, and that's up to you. But for most of the players out there, we get that weekly reset, or these items don't necessarily reset on a weekly reset. They're each on an individual timer. But now I can go and get that energy. I can get the chickens if I need them. I'm waiting here for the void shard, but I might want to go after this epic tome here for 13,000 gold bars. And you can see the void shard is 15,000 gold bars. And I think both of those are on a 2-week timer. So every 2 weeks, I'm trying to get 28,000 gold bars minimum. And this is the best way to do that. Okay, finally, let's talk about Doom Tower. Now, as you can see here, we have a reset that says 4 weeks and 1 day. So that is 29 days of keys. But in addition, because the reset happens not with the server reset, but at a different time, for me, it happens at about 2 or 3 in the morning. That means you actually get an extra day of keys, because on reset day, you'll get the keys for the old tower. And then at the server reset, at the Doom Tower reset, you will get the keys for the new tower as well. So on that day, you actually get 2 sets of keys. So you have 29 days here plus 1 extra day. So you have 30 days to clear this tower. Now, if you are trying to clear both normal mode and hard mode, that takes a minimum of 24 days. You get 10 keys per day. There are 12 tiers of 10 floors, so 120 floors in each tower. So that means you have roughly 5 or 6 extra days of keys. So not a lot of leeway, but enough leeway that you don't have to be 100% perfect. We're going to try to be perfect. You want to try to use 10 of your keys every day if you can. But if you miss a day, it's not the end of the world. You just don't want to miss too many days. Now, you are likely to be in one of 3 scenarios with Doom Tower. The first scenario is that you are not in hard Doom Tower. You are just in normal Doom Tower. Maybe you've just started normal Doom Tower, or maybe you are close to completing your first normal Doom Tower. Maybe last month you got up to floor 100 or 110, but you didn't quite complete the whole thing. The second scenario is you do have the normal Doom Tower on farm and you are working your way through hard Doom Tower. Again, you probably don't have this fully completed, but maybe you could be just starting. You could be on floor 1, or you could be on like floor 105 and you're just trying to find the final solutions for some of those really hard floors or some of those really high floor bosses. And then the third scenario is the one I'm in on my main account, which is I've got all 3 rotations on full farm. So that brings us to the first thing you want to figure out, which is what is this rotation? Because some rotations are going to be easier for you and some rotations are going to be harder. Now, usually the easiest way to determine what rotation it is to go up to floor 10 and find out who that boss is. But I happen to know that this is rotation 2. This is the Eternal Dragon rotation, and they do rotate in sequence. So as long as you know what the 3 rotations are, you can always predict what the next reset is going to be. Now, if you can farm normal Doom Tower and hard Doom Tower, you have a choice to make, and you always want to check the other timers in the game to help you approach this in the best way. And I'll show you what I mean. If we go to normal Doom Tower and we scroll up, we're going to see that the first really important reward in terms of timing is at floor 70, and that is a Void Shard. Additionally, if you go all the way up to floor 100, there's a second Void Shard, and at floor 120, there is a third Void Shard. So if you have normal on clear and you know that a Void Shard event is coming up, you may want to prioritize this difficulty because it's going to take you 12 days to get these 3 Void Shards. However, in this case, we just had a 2x Void Shard event end, literally this past weekend. So Void Shards aren't time sensitive. I know I'm not likely to get another Void Shard event for at least a while. Plarium has started to mix up the schedule for the 2x events, so who knows? But I think it's the least likely event to happen 2 weeks from now would be Void Shard events. So we're looking for Sacreds. Now, Sacreds are available in hard Doom Tower, as are some Void Shards. So if we were going for a Void Shard event, we would want to try to complete normal Doom Tower, but also we'd want to get up here to floor 40 of hard Doom Tower, and then potentially here, there's another one at floor 60, and then I believe there is a third at floor 90. So that would be 9 days for this tower and 12 days for the normal Doom Tower, and that would be 21 days to get 6 Void Shards. So if you know that a Void Shard event is coming out, say, in 4 weeks, then you can plan, okay, I need to prioritize Void Shards. But because the next event is more likely to be a Sacred Shard event, because that's the one we skipped, by the way, you may want to start with hard Doom Tower, because at floor 100, you can get a Sacred Shard, and then at floor 120, you can get a Sacred Shard. I'm sorry, that's floor 110. So at 110 and 120, you can get Sacred Shards. So it's going to take you at least 12 days, and we are only 13 days away from the next 2x event, which is likely to be Sacred Shards. So you always want to plan out which difficulty you're going to do based on the timer of the events for the shards that are coming down the line. That's assuming that you can farm both Doom Towers. One other thing you want to consider about Doom Towers as the timer is ticking is I like to try to clear my secret rooms as I go. Sometimes I don't have time in any given day. Remember, they only take silver keys, so you can usually get in there pretty easily. And then you also want to be able to farm any forge materials that are important to you. So for instance, it might be more valuable for you to do just the first few floors of hard. If you can clear the first boss or two, that's going to allow you to farm the forge materials that are going to drop epics and legendary forge materials, as opposed to just getting the rare forge materials from Doom Tower normal. So sometimes early in the rotation, I will just unlock a couple of floors of Doom Tower hard, and then I will go back and actually farm Doom Tower normal, depending on, again, those shard events and also the state of my account. On some accounts, I can't farm very high into Doom Tower hard, but I still want that daily access to those good forged materials that come out of the hard Doom Tower. So again, I'll unlock a boss or two, as long as those bosses drop good materials, and then I'll farm those every day while I'm also progressing through the Doom Tower normal floors. Just one last timer I did want to mention, and that is the Clan v Clan that is going to pop in just under 18 hours here, just 17 hours and 21 minutes. Remember that your 3v3 arena keys will get reset at the daily reset. And then this clan v clan goes live a few hours later. So you may want to hold on to your faction crypt keys and your 3v3 keys and don't use them right after server reset if that's your typical habit. Hold on to them until the clan v clan pops, and then you're going to get those points. You get an extra day's worth of points. So the way that you view the timers, the way that you track the timers is really important. Some of the timers are really short, like the minute timer. Like, you know, some of the tournaments are only 24, 48 hours. And then you have the longer timers like the weekly timers we talked about and the monthly timer of Doom Tower. So try to use those timers to your advantage. If you have any tips or tricks for how to use timers or how to think about timers, please put those in the comments below so we can share them with the community. I didn't cover everything here today. There's plenty more to cover, so read those comments because I'm sure people are going to have some good suggestions. And likewise, if you have any questions about any of the timers or maybe the clan quests or how to approach Doom Tower or how to get the most out of Hydra, consider joining our Discord community because you can always post those questions there. And we've got over 500 people now in the Discord who are constantly talking, answering questions, theory crafting. It's a really fun space to be. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for hanging out. I've been Colred, and I will see you in another video soon.